All right, all right, all right. As my good friend Larry, the Carnivore Soldier, would say, we are live. Welcome back to another Sunday here at the Carnivore Roundtable. Excited to have all you guys here again today. We're going to have a discussion about is the carnivore diet too restrictive? What do you think? Put your comments in there. What do you think on the carnivore diet? Do you think it's restrictive, or do you think that it's just right, or you think that that people are just overreactive when they say comments like that? Interested to hear your opinions. So today we got Brian, Wick Goes Carnivore, and we got Carrie, my meat-omorphous. I got to say it, make sure I say it right. And John Wood, the champion within, is going to make a special appearance here, hopefully shortly. He's having a little bit of difficulty right now, but should be jumping in here pretty quickly. So we look forward to that. Anyways, let's get this thing going. And there it is. All that beautiful red meat. Brian, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? How's everyone else doing?
Good. Doing really good. Just glad to be here. Glad that Sunday, enjoying the day. Not looking forward to this horrible weather that's coming, but we'll make it through. Let me get to, hey, Carrie, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm stocked up on meat, plenty of good stuff to eat. If the weather turns bad, who knows what it's going to do? I mean, a lot of times they'll predict something and nothing happens, or they don't predict that much and you get way more. So who knows? But I'm stocked up. I've got plenty. Got brisket, barbecue. Got my burger patties, my beef bacon.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. And the cat has food. He's got plenty of food too. So. It's all good.
I'm not overly worried about the snow so much as I am just it's that 7-degree weather day that's coming here in a couple days. So speaking of snow and speaking of King of the Road, we got Johnny here, the champion within. John out there, cutting down the road. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Glad you could join us.
Yeah. My schedule changed. I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it is exactly 4 degrees right now, above zero. It's bitter cold.
Better you than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carrie, what's your weather like right now? I think my temperature right now is 37. We know he's at 4 degrees. What are you at, Carrie?
Let's see, however accurate this is. I know it was 26 this morning when I went out to walk. It is, it says we're at 27.
Ooh.
We're at 27. Feels like 21, and it's breezy. It is a bit breezy out there.
Now, Brian's a little bit northeast of me. What's your temperatures up there, Brian?
So I'm checking it now because I was just outside a couple hours ago cooking a steak, and it didn't feel bad. Yeah, it's 48 degrees here.
Oh, wow. You have a heat wave.
So the cold front hasn't made it to you yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to really get that cold. I think it's going to get like into the low 30s, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah. That must be
They're
nice.
calling for like maybe an inch or a dusting to an inch or something around us. Originally, they were saying we could get more, but now they're saying it looks like it's going to break up by the time it gets around us.
Yeah, you never know how far these storms are going to drop. It's a lot of times that they threaten us with snow and we don't even see a flake. And then sometimes they don't talk about it at all. And we wake up the next morning to a foot of snow on the ground. So you just never know. All right. Well, let me see who's all in here. Say hello to a few people. So we got John Carlson. I said hello to him a little bit earlier on the chat. We got Karen. How are you doing today? We got Brett. Just came off a 12-day fast. Who's your carnivore? He's the man. If you haven't seen his videos on that, he's posted them all, and he's posted his video on coming off a 12-day fast. It's super impressive. There's no way. I mean, I'm going to shoot for a 3-day, and I'll consider myself pretty good. I get to 2, and that's been as far as I want to go. We got Toby. We got William, Sheila, Susan, Robin. Carnivore Grandma, how are you today? Who else we got in here? All right, My Weight Loss Life. How are you doing today? So, excellent. All right, guys. So what we're going to talk today about is the carnivore diet too restrictive? We all hear those comments every time you talk to somebody and they start asking you what you're doing. If they don't say, flat out, just say that you're going to kill yourself because you're going to clog all your arteries with all that fat you're eating. The next favorite thing to say is, well, that diet's just too restrictive. I could never do that diet because I just couldn't eat only meat. So we'll just talk about it and see what you guys think and see what the comments say. What's your thoughts on it, Brian?
Well, I think, if you're coming from the standard American diet, you're used to eating a lot of different foods, a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar, and you're going to look at it as, yeah, that is very restricting. But I think if you go to it within like 30 days or so, you're going to be like, yeah, this really isn't that restricting. To me, it's not restricting because everything I eat tastes very good to me. I like it. It's a lot of the same foods I used to like before. It's just that I ate a lot of sugar and carbs with it, right? And I don't have the desire really to eat that other food unless I start eating some of it again and then get like a craving or something. But otherwise, I don't really have that desire. Depending on how you're doing carnivore, you can be really, really strict to just like lion diet where you're just doing beef and so forth. Or you can make it where you're eating eggs, you're eating chicken, and so forth. So there's a lot of variety that can be in the carnivore diet as well. So I really don't agree that it's restrictive. And I think that if people go to the carnivore diet, they find out fairly quickly that, yeah, it really isn't that restricting.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I had salmon for dinner the other night. There's lots of good things out there that you can eat. You just have to be more creative, possibly. Maybe that's the restrictive part is it makes you have to deal with your creativity side. John, what's your thoughts?
Well, we talk about the standard American diet, which we were all on at one time, and I was up until July of last year. And the truth of the matter is, I ate hamburger and French fries pretty much every meal every day. So it might have been from Burger King one day, Hardee's the next, McDonald's, but I was doing a lot of repetitive, eating the same things a lot. I had the same things for breakfast, usually a biscuit at Bojangles or whatever. And then for lunch, I'd have hamburger, French fries, and drink. And for supper, wherever my wife wanted to go out to eat. So the truth of the matter is there was very little variety in my diet prior to carnivore. And now, I eat a lot of the same things, but I use some different spices from time to time. Like Brian, I kind of fix things differently. Sometimes I grill out. Sometimes I cook things in my air fryer. Sometimes I cook them in the frying pan. So I don't know. I don't think it's any less variety. It's no less restrictive. In my opinion, what was restrictive to me prior to the carnivore diet was not being able to tie my shoes, not being able to get off the couch, not being able to do fun things with the wife, not being able to go upstairs and back down, rapidly, kind of being pretty much immobile, having pain everywhere. So even if this is quote unquote restrictive, my life on the whole basis is much less restrictive now than it was prior to the carnivore way of eating. I've got to expand my my dialogue. I've been watching Carrie every day eat her breakfast, those sardines for breakfast every day. So Carrie, I've been watching you on Instagram every day eating those sardines. And I saw Brian when Brian and Greg did their sardine thing. So I'm going to have to give it a try. And that'll put a little more variety in my restrictive diet.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, all right. I haven't watched those videos. Apparently, I got to go watch Carrie's channel a bit more. I didn't realize she was eating sardines. Carrie, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I look at restrictive as spending a lot of time cooking. That's restrictive to me. Figuring out what you're going to eat. Also, standing in line to get prescriptions filled. That's pretty restrictive to me. Not that I was doing that, but I'm just saying anybody out there who has those objections about restrictive, I mean, stop and think about it. Your quality of life matters. And if you're out there, if you're having to schedule doctor's appointments or you're taking a medicine to counteract the side effects of another medicine, polypharmacy and that kind of thing. And like I said, for me, the ease I mean, cooking is just so simple. I mean, now I've got that Ninja Foodie and I can cook steaks in it. So I'll have a steak or two a week. Generally, I cook up burger patties and bacon. Lately, I've been having beef bacon, and I'll have that so that I have something prepared in case my work day gets hectic and I don't feel like cooking anything. I mean, you can stick it in the microwave and we can talk about microwaves, but hey, you know, the lesser of evils and all that. I mean, I'll nuke it. I don't care. And yes, I have been doing the breakfast, Johnny. I haven't had sardines every day, but I've had them quite a few times. And I think the key for me, I'm trying to actually bulk up. I'm trying to, I've been doing body weight exercises, and I've got some exercise bands that I'm going to start a challenge with Christy of Meeting Wellness too. But so my situation is a little bit different. So I was doing that along with Brett. He had done his challenge for fasting, and he suggested to me, fasting would not be a good idea for me because I would dry up and blow away. And so he says, well, why don't you start incorporating breakfast? Because, you talk about how you need to eat more. So that's what I've been doing. And sardines for breakfast has been a surprisingly good thing. And, you're naturally getting those nutrients. You're not having to supplement to get those. So it's a win-win. And I never thought, my first video was of trying sardines. And the look on my face is priceless, actually. I laugh if I watch it. My grandson just cracked up over it. But I never would have dreamed I would have liked sardines, much less eat them for breakfast. But anyway, no, carnivore is not restricted to me at all. It gives me freedom. It gives me freedom to do other things, freedom to do things other than spending your time chopping and cooking and washing dishes. Who wants to do that? I don't.
Outstanding. So, people do this all the time. And I don't know, I found all kinds of great ways to cook different things and create a little bit of, interest and variety in our cooking. We still do the ribeyes and steaks. That's a staple, but, the wife cooks chicken. We deep fry it in lard, in a cast iron pan. Gives it a really good flavor. We do fish. We do a little bit of pork, a little bit of bacon. Come up with other different things that you can eat. Different steaks. Butter on any steak is like the best steak sauce ever. If you never had melted butter across your steak, you don't know what you're missing. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of good stuff out there. Let me see a question. Let me pop through a few of these real quick, and then we'll get back to the conversation. So Big Man Alaska says it's 9 a.m. Why you up so early now Sunday? Well, some of us aren't, in Alaska, buddy. Some of us have been up for hours.
Yeah. Since about 5.
Yeah, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and so that would have been, I don't know, you would have been going to bed about the time I got up, probably. So there's that. Let's see. Hoosier says it's restrictive if you're a sugar addict. I could agree with that. Everybody else agree with that? If you're a sugar addict, then this would probably be a little bit more restrictive to you because there's no sugar involved. Let's see. Hey, Johnny, welcome to the Hoosier State.
I'm at it, Brett. Hey, Brett? What's the temperature where you're at? Probably pretty close to me. I'm in Indy, so I know Brett's in the central part of the state, but it's 7 here. I don't know what it is where Brett is.
Greg says it was negative 12 this morning here in North Iowa. You can keep that weather.
Yeah, Greg just texted me that a while ago. Yeah, Greg, that's. I don't know how much different it is between the lowest I saw this morning. I was on I-65 and it was one degree. That was the coldest I saw. It's actually warmed up to a balmy 7 degrees now. But Greg can keep that for now. I'm gonna get up there and see Greg in the spring.
Yeah, I'm over the negative weather. Years ago, when I was raising hogs in Nevada before we moved to Tennessee, there's a thing that says pigs will give birth. It's 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days at 3 o'clock in the morning. And normally when it's negative 14 degrees outside, that's 100% true. So we're out birthing pigs, and we're literally grabbing these little piglets, stuffing them in a jacket, and running them in the house to keep them from freezing instantly to death. you know, and so we you just grabbing pigs and running to the house to try to get them in and keep them warm because they would literally die in that cold weather, and that's what pigs do to you. The 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 o'clock in the morning, and most definitely when it's negative 14 degrees outside. Let's see here. Greg says he's lost another 3 pounds this week doing carnivore. Outstanding. Speaking of which,
Huzzah!
I'm excited to say I have been held up. I have fluctuated. I've been struggling for 2 months. I got down to 270. I crept back up to 280, and I've been back and forth for a while, but I finally dropped 2.5 pounds this morning. So I'm super excited. I actually increased my my intake a little bit on some fat, and I think that's helped kick it in gear. Let's see here. Love seeing the American flag. Absolutely. Every day, any day. And now I'm down to Hoosier Carnivore's question. Carrie, are you now starting to want breakfast and more food now that you have been doing it for a couple weeks?
I still can't eat as soon as I get up. I do have to wait for about maybe an hour or two, but I'm still eating like at roughly between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And it's not necessarily that I'm wanting food, but I'm more in the habit of it, and I have more of an appetite once I get it fixed. And sometimes it's like I'm not sure what I want, but I know I need to do something. And that's kind of what I've done on the mornings that I've had the sardines, because it's like nothing really sounded good at that point. But for some reason, the sardines didn't sound bad. And plus, they were easy. I mean, you just open a can and pour some hot sauce on them. And yes, I have sardines with hot sauce first thing in the morning, but it was good. So I'm not going to say that I'm still just like craving breakfast, but I will say that it's easier for me to eat something, because generally speaking, I wouldn't eat until roughly around noon every day. And so now I am getting in 3 meals, and that breakfast meal might not be very big. Some mornings it's bigger than others. Like sometimes I'll have like 3 or 4 pieces of bacon, an egg or 2. And then other times it's a can of sardines. And this morning it was brisket. So I had brisket from Buc-ee's and an egg. So that was breakfast this morning. So yeah, I don't have any idea whether at this point, I've been doing this for 14 days. I don't know if it's affected my weight at all. My clothes don't really seem like they fit any differently, and I don't have a scale. So it's hard to tell, but I still keep doing my body weight exercises and everything. And then we'll see. If the weather permits, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I'll be weighed there. And so we will see what they say. I tend to go by what the doctor's scale says. That's just kind of a consistent thing. And so I've got to follow up to some issues I had back in October. So I'm going to go, and who knows what that mysterious kidney/back issue was. It's gone and it hasn't come back. So who knows? So it's a follow-up. I'm not even sure why I'm going, because I don't know what they're going to say. But anyway, so I'll know more tomorrow.
Let's hope it all comes out good, though. We'll be praying for you.
Well, thank you.
So, you know the Wizard of Oz and the voice from behind the curtain. The voice from behind my curtain just asked me to ask you, what type of hot sauce? What brand of hot sauce are you eating?
Frank's Red Hot Original. It's clean. It's only got like water, vinegar, cayenne pepper, and one other thing. But I mean, it's clean. Yeah.
Good.
Frank's Red Hot Original.
Did you get that? I know. She got that. Thank you. Oh, Brian, are you eating breakfast, or what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I do not eat breakfast. I typically eat twice a day. The funny thing is, like, do you guys remember before you started doing carnivore, you'd wake up hungry all the time, like starving, right? That's how I used to be. Like, I always had to eat. But now, I don't really get hungry until like maybe around noon or so. So that's typically when I eat first. I did kind of eat a little bit early today because I knew we had this live stream at 1, and I didn't want to go too far out and be too hungry. I didn't want to be hungry on the show and so forth. So I cooked up a New York strip, like a 20-ounce New York strip, and a couple of eggs. So I had steak and eggs, kind of a breakfast-like thing, but I had it at like I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. So so that's typically what I'll do is it'll be that 11:30 noon, maybe 1 o'clock time frame that I have my first meal. And then later, like 6 hours later or something, I'll have a second meal. And that's it. I don't, at this point, I don't feel like I need to eat in the morning. So I've been staying away from it.
I agree. There 2 days a week I carpool with the wife in, and so normally, I'm dropping her off at 6 o'clock in the morning at work, and I don't have to be at work till 8. So sometimes I'll stop by the Waffle House and have some bacon, just some good fatty bacon. And you have to tell them not to overcook it because they'll cook the life out of that bacon if you let them. But yeah, that's the only time I'll eat early is occasionally in the morning, but most time noon. I'm looking for something to eat. And then of course after we get home, we'll cook up some ribeyes and eggs. What about you, John? You eating breakfast in the morning?
Coffee with butter and a little bit of my French vanilla sugar-free creamer. But
I said breakfast, not coffee. That's a whole different story, buddy.
Oh yeah. When my schedule allows, I like to get up and fix. And unlike Carrie, I don't have one egg. I usually have 10 eggs and a half a pound of
Really?
bacon. 10 eggs and a half a pound of bacon is my normal breakfast. But then I'll go the balance of the day because I drive, once I start driving, I like to get to where I'm going. And then when I shut down for the night, I used to have a steak. And what I've been doing lately, I made a bunch of hamburger patties, or if I have some steak with me, I'll cook that either in the air fryer or the my electric skillet. And then I cook 2 or 3 eggs to finish off that dozen for the day. And I do it like over easy, and I let the yolk run onto the steak or onto the hamburger and kind of use it as a dipping sauce. And so that's, you think you get tired of it, but probably 45, 50 days in a row, that's what I've done. And I still look forward to it. It's not old. It's not worn out. I crave that pretty much every day. So whatever that combination has of nutrients, that's what my body wants, because it still is absolutely delicious, and I have it every single day.
So that brings a question to mind that I've thought of a few times, and so I'll throw this out here to you guys. Some carnivores eat an immense amount of food, like you just said, 10 eggs and a half a pound of bacon, every single day. I mean, have you cycled through that? Because I've gone through points where I've ate a little bit more, but I'm pretty steady on it. And I'm wondering if maybe I'm not eating enough and that's affecting my weight. We'll work our way around. Brian, what's your thoughts?
That's a good question. I don't know that I really know myself.
It's kind of a hard question.
I think everybody's different too, but it's astonishing to me because I've interviewed some people that are really small, skinny people, and they're like, yeah, I eat like 4 pounds of meat every day. And I'm like, how do you eat that much? Where does it go?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I probably eat somewhere between 2.5 to 3 pounds of meat a day between my 2 meals. And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'4". I still have body fat to lose. So I don't know. It's pretty consistent for me for the most part. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's like a whole lot. And I wouldn't say that's like a little bit like some people do, but that just seems to be like the right amount for me, I guess. Right. Does that make sense? So, yeah.
I mean, it's what your body's craving, and you're feeling full when you're done. I suppose that's where you're at. And you're still losing weight pretty steadily.
Not really. The interesting thing, and I don't know if some of this is like my own sabotage or not, but I don't really see any weight loss for several months now. And I haven't tried to do something to change that, but I know I've gained some muscle. I've been doing push-ups, and this month I'm doing push-ups and planks. So I know that that's helped to gain some muscle, and I know that I am seeing changes in terms of measurements. So like I've lost inches in my waist and so forth. I've seen inches like in my chest, my thighs, that kind of thing. So I'm still losing fat and I'm seeing changes to my body composition. I'm just not losing actual weight on the scale. but I'm not concerned about it either.
Okay. John, your thoughts? You're down there, pounding down the bacon and eggs.
Well, for me, early on, about halfway through my journey between July of last year and now, I went for a point where I would not eat for a day or two. Not intentionally. I wasn't trying to fast. I just wasn't hungry. And, trying to eat steak or hamburger when you're not hungry is abysmal. You just can't swallow. You chew and chew, and you just can't bring yourself to swallow it. But I'm down from my heaviest to now almost 100 pounds. And if you watch my videos, and I know you do, John, because you comment on them, and Brian, I work out every single day. I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing lunges, I'm doing planks, I'm doing every day. So my activity level, even though I'm a sedentary over-the-road truck driver, I get in a ton of exercise. And my shoulders and my chest are completely different now than they were 3 months ago. I know I've put on muscle because I can see it. I can physically see that my shoulders are, my shoulders were like little. I mean, it didn't even look human how little they were. And then once I started doing these push-ups and my resistance bands and all that stuff, my shoulders and my chest look different. So I'm putting on muscle. So I weighed December the 27th. I left from my house on December the 27th. I stayed gone until I went home. I got home Thursday, so I weighed Friday morning. And the truth of the matter is, I've cheated a pretty good bit. I have not been clean. On New Year's, I was at a truck stop in Edgerton, Kansas for 34 hours. And I did I think I walked 14 miles one day or 12 miles. I did 400 push-ups in one day. I did a bunch of jump rope, did all this stuff. But I got to where I was kind of going back to an old habit of having pastry in the morning with my coffee. I've gotten away from it now. So when I went home last Thursday and I weighed Friday, which was, I guess now just a couple of days ago, I was expecting to see a pretty significant weight gain because I've kind of gotten away from the mission, being out here, being in the freezing cold. I went I think it was 8 or 9 consecutive days. I didn't see the sun because we had rain and, blah weather in the Midwest. But when I weighed myself, I had lost 2 pounds, and I am pounding the food. But I'm also doing a lot of resistance training. And I haven't had any of my symptoms come back, even though I've had multiple cheats that I'm not proud of, but none of my symptoms have come back. But I'm pounding the exercise. Every time I stop the truck, I get out and do 25 push-ups. If I'm getting fuel, if I'm getting loaded or unloaded, if I'm stopping to use the restroom, I get down beside the truck and I do 25 push-ups as fast as I can. So it's not uncommon for me to do between 200 and 300 push-ups a day. Plus I do my resistance bands when I stop, and just constantly moving. I do a lot of lunges. I'm working on trying to build my legs up and my butt because I have no butt whatsoever. I never really did, but it's even worse now. So I don't know if that accounts for the fact that I can pound all this food and not gain any weight. The fact that I'm doing so much exercise, which is 180 degrees from what I did in June. I couldn't do any of this 6-7 months ago. I couldn't even fathom doing one push-up. Now I can do 400 in a day. So I think that gives me the latitude, or because I burn off so much energy doing that I can replenish that with a dozen eggs and a pound of bacon and 4 hamburger patties in a day. It's just my thought.
So your burnage is adding up to your usage. So makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I can tell you that it is very easy to undereat on carnivore because, like Johnny was saying, it is very satiating. And if you're not hungry and you're trying to eat, or at least I can't make myself. I mean, it'll make me gag. So I was under eating, and I know I was. And I mean, I dropped weight. Like of course, back in 2015 was when I really had gone into low carb and then gradually into keto and Carnivore. And I had weighed about 225 pounds at that point. Well, then when I started Carnivore, I went in for, we have a 6-month follow-up to our physical. So basically, I have a routine visit every 6 months. So I had gone in for my routine follow-up, and I had lost down to 110 pounds at 5'9". So it's like, oh God, I'm not eating enough. I know I'm not. And so it is very easy for that to happen. I don't really know how much meat I'm eating. 'Cause I don't really measure any of that stuff. Maybe I should. But in general, I'll eat 2 to 4 burger patties a day. I'll eat several pieces of bacon. Lately, I've been having a can of sardines a day. If it's not for breakfast, it'll be with my evening meal. And I'll have some full fat Greek yogurt as kind of my dessert. And of course, I've added in breakfast, which it can vary just depending. So I believe I am eating more now. I was recording what I was eating, but I have stopped doing that. But I do have my breakfast videos to kind of remind me what I've had for breakfast. So, but I feel the best eating this way. I mean, even though I was low carb and in keto, and a lot of my anxiety and issues like that I had were better, it has completely gone away on carnivore. I have so much more energy and focus, and I can reason through problems and issues now better than I ever could. So it's worth it to me. And I'm just doing these little N=1 experiments to just see what I can tweak and what I can do to just keep on improving.
Outstanding. Got another question here. Let's see. How do you keep temptation away? My problem is I own a bar in East Ohio and have food around all day, plus have to cook for my wife because she's handicapped. I assume that you started on the diet recently. So I'm going to go from that perspective, is that you're just recently on the diet. So, excuse me. One of the things I did in the beginning was to have a bag of bacon, fry up a large amount of bacon. I was doing 3 pounds at a time. And then anytime you got that desire for a temptation or a snack or a craving, you could take a piece of bacon and chew on it, or a couple pieces of bacon and chew on it. And that would curb the craving. And it also taught your body that this craving is now going to be supplemented with a good fatty source. So that would be my recommendation. What do you say, Brian?
Well, bacon's a great suggestion. I've used that in the past as well. So I'm the kind of person that this question is really good for me, because I'm the kind of person that even now, if I eat something I shouldn't, that temptation comes right back, the cravings, right? So for me, the first thing is that I just need to recognize that I need to just stay away from it. Like, some people can be like, okay, you know what? This one time I can have this and I'll be fine, and they will be fine. I won't be. I'll get the cravings from doing that. So that's the first thing, is I got to recognize that I just got to stay away from those foods. But like you said, bacon's a really good one. What you want to do, if you're at that point that you are having cravings, is eat something very good for you so it fills you up better, and hopefully that gets rid of the craving. Eggs is something that I like to do too, because it has a good fat content to it. If you keep like beef jerky around or something like that, that's a good thing. Something that you can get to quick or you can make quick is probably the best, because it's going to help you, get rid of that craving, get full again quickly. And the other thing I guess I would say is just recognize that if you keep going and not giving into the temptation and keep going, eventually you're going to find that temptation is going to be gone. And as long as I stay away from eating those things, I can be around that type of food and see that food like on the kitchen counter, and it doesn't bother me. I don't eat it. So that should eventually happen for you.
Another thing that I forgot to mention in there, and it goes along with what you're saying, is fat is a natural appetite suppressant. So by consuming some fat, it will actually suppress your appetite and just natural. So butter, bacon, ribeyes, all those fatty, that actually helps suppress your appetite and help you get rid of the cravings. And then of course, there's always a pinch of salt. A lot of times when you're craving something, you think it's something sweet, but what your body's actually craving is probably minerals, and you might need a little bit of salt in your diet. John, what's your thoughts?
Visual aids, if you guys can see that. Boiled eggs. I've got one of those. I can't remember the brand it is. It's kind of a popular brand, but you can do a dozen eggs. It basically steams eggs. You do a dozen at a time, And then I just package them up. And if I get those cravings, and I get them a lot, especially since I'm doing all this working out, I seem to find myself hungrier than I used to be. I can grab one or two of these, and as I'm driving down the road, and it's it's a very, very, very convenient thing, dirt cheap. I buy the pasture raised organic eggs. I get them at Sam's, like $5 for 18. I usually get 3 or 4 packs of them, and so it's really nutrient dense. These are very healthy chickens, and the eggs are amazing. Their yolks are they're not yellow, they're orange, almost red. So there's a lot more. They're more nutrient dense than your standard a dollar a dozen eggs. On top of that, when I am cooking, and this gentleman says he cooks for his wife, cook up some hamburger patties. All this is hamburger patties. When I cook, I usually cook 16 at a time. I throw 2 in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the fridge, and then if I'm hungry, 90 seconds in the microwave or 1 minute in the microwave, boom, there you go. So the trick is, like Brian was saying, and I'm sure Carrie will agree with this, is to have something on the ready. And I would show you my bacon, but I ate it all. But I cook a bunch of bacon. I buy the 3 packs at Sam's or Costco, and so it's 3 pounds for, I don't know, $12 or whatever. It seems to be a little cheaper doing it that way. And I cook up a bunch of it, and I put 6 or 8 pieces in a little Ziploc bag. And then if I have that craving, if I'm bored because I drive sometimes 10 straight hours with a 30-minute break in there, it's easy to throw the bacon in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then I got a snack right there. So to your point, John, having something at the ready right there is your best tool in the toolbox, is having, because if you don't have anything ready, the easiest thing is a pastry that you just open the package and eat, right? Which is what I find myself here lately doing. So when I was home, I really went crazy and cooked a bunch of stuff because I'm trying to derail that temptation by having something quick, convenient, and at the ready.
Absolutely. Carrie, thoughts?
Well, I can tell you that when I ate crappy, it wasn't so much because of cravings, but it was convenience. Things that were prepackaged or just, ready to eat were go-to things back before I really became cognizant, back in 2015. And, on occasion, even between then and now, I would say between then and when I started Carnivore, once in a blue moon, I would still do something that was prepackaged. So I know myself enough to know that if I don't have something prepared and ready, that I'm going to do the easiest thing possible, especially if I'm just brain dead. So I don't keep any of the prepackaged stuff in the house. And instead, like Johnny was saying, I do tons of meal prep. I do it either Saturday morning or Sunday morning every single week. And I cook up about 24 burger patties, and I'll cook up a bunch of bacon, and I'll just have all of that available. I'll cook up hard-boiled eggs. I've also got some full-fat Greek yogurt that I keep in the refrigerator. So if I do, just for whatever reason, just crave or want something, I can go down there. And if I don't want any of that stuff, then I just know that I'm probably not hungry. Maybe I'm bored or something, because once in a while I would eat if I was bored. Just, I don't know why, but typically I don't stress eat or anything like that. Matter of fact, if I'm stressed, I won't eat at all, which is not good, but people are different. So I think that just like the other 3 gentlemen have said, have something prepared and have a plan B, have a go-to, and just set yourself up for success to begin with. Because like James Clear and BJ Fogg of, Atomic Habits and Tiny Habits, they talk about making things easy. So if it's something new that you want to do, you make it easy. So you just go ahead and cook up a bunch of stuff. You just have stuff available that you can reach for in case you have a craving, or you see something or whatever, and you're just like, oh man, I really want that. No, instead I'm going to eat some bacon, or I'm going to eat a beef stick, or I'm going to eat some beef jerky or a hard-boiled egg, whatever. And I just have, and then likewise, they say to remove any obstacles. Well, granted, if you work in a bar, you can't remove that, but like in your home, for example, just don't have anything there that you don't want to eat. And of course, I know too that there are a lot of people. It's easy for me because I live alone with my cat, and he doesn't care what I eat. However, some of y'all have families, but maybe have a section where you put your stuff that's, and really, honestly, most of your stuff should be in the refrigerator. There shouldn't be any prepackaged stuff like in the cabinet unless it's something like sardines or. Now, I eat Spam, y'all, so no judging, but I eat Spam and I will eat the on occasion too. So I do have those in the cabinet, but I don't keep perishables. Like I don't have anything in the cabinet like that. So just set yourself up, and then that way, even if you do crave something and you're at home, you know, you just make it easier for you to follow your plan. And if by chance you do slip up, just look at it as a temporary blip and just resume. Maybe fast a day if you're so inclined, and then just move on and don't dwell on it. Don't say, well, I've screwed up now, might as well eat 10 donuts. I mean, just say, okay, you know, all right, this is I messed up, but I'm gonna continue on. And that just, but it just helps me to not have it. Now, my weakness, I will tell you one thing that when I was doing low carb, I would on occasion buy the, what is it? It's that keto ice cream that I think they sell it at Kroger's too, but I would get it at Publix. And Rebel, I would get Rebel ice cream. And so if Rebel ice cream is there, I would eat it. So I don't buy it anymore. So therefore I don't eat it. Even though sometimes I'll walk by and it's on sale, but I don't buy it.
Got another question here for John. How is Johnny liking the truck life doing carnivore?
Well, actually, for me, it has proved to be maybe a little easier than when I'm at home with my wife. She called me out there. She said, quit saying the wife. So I always say the wife, but she's my wife. She's not the wife. But so when I'm home with her, you know, we try to eat together because especially now that I'm only home a couple of days out of the month, we want to go get something to eat or have something at home. And all those temptations are there. She doesn't do this way of eating. So being out on the truck, kind of like Carrie, I'm living by myself. So I don't keep garbage or I say garbage, you know, regular, quote unquote, regular food. I don't keep it in the truck.
Garbage work.
Yeah. It's easier for me actually on the road. And I've had a couple of videos. If you guys check out my channel at the Champion Within 9619, I've done some cooking in the truck and I kind of demonstrate how I do it. I've gotten to know a carnivore trucker, and then the ground beef guy, Randy, is a really good friend of mine. So I'm starting to reach out to other trucking carnivores and just trying to share, you know, the little tips and tricks that I've come up with. So it's going really well. It's actually kind of easier. And, you know, I've got a refrigerator, I've got an air fryer, I've got an electric skillet, I've got a microwave. So not having the temptation right there helps, and not having to feel like I should be having what the other person is having. It actually makes it a little easier. But so far, so good. I love it. I love the fact that I'm in control of my own schedule. I don't have to eat when the other person wants to eat. You know, it's kind of all on me. Like Carrie, it's just whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. It tends to simplify it just a bit. But thanks, Greg, for the question.
Robin says, I just done frying heart attack chicken wings and tallow. Absolutely delicious and not at all restrictive. If you haven't cooked in animal fats yet, lard or tallow, you don't know what you're missing, because those are nature's flavor additives. If you cook chicken with lard or tallow, the flavor, you know, profile is amazing. So if you haven't done that yet, I highly suggest that you give it a try, and I think you'll be highly surprised on how those two fats can increase the value of chicken immensely, because chicken's pretty bland otherwise. But you cook it in lard, and it's really good to eat. Let's see. Karen says it's 4 degrees in Arkansas. No, thank you.
Nope.
Hoosier said it was -5 this morning. I'm on the north side of Indy. It sounds like you're on the north side of the North Pole.
Right.
Let's see. Trini says, I'm trying to eat some eggs, but having my first cup of coffee. That's late in the day. I've had 3 cups already. Let's see. She says, do you guys ever eat chicharrones,
Chicharrones.
or snacks on bacon or pork belly? Yes to all of the above.
Yep. Hey, John.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see how well you can see this, but this is my bacon grease. So I've got to where I start cooking bacon in the microwave, and I've got the little thing that goes in there so the grease kind of runs down, and I save it in here. So I've got a pretty good bit. So when I do my eggs, I don't do eggs in the microwave. I have, but I don't normally do that. I'll put 3 or 4 tablespoons of bacon grease in the frying pan and get it liquefied, and then pour my scrambled eggs in there and scramble it all together. Oh my gosh. I don't put any salt or pepper or anything on the eggs. When I cook them in the bacon grease, it's bacon flavored scrambled eggs. And it's
the wife does that with our eggs from time to time. That's just amazing. It's a great, great way to up your fat intake.
Yeah.
Eating chicharrones or pork skins up there, Brian?
I haven't recently, but early on, like the first 6 months or so on the carnivore diet, I did snack a little more often. And yeah, pork rinds and bacon were big things to snack on. I try and stay away from snacking for the most part now, so I don't really snack. But I think that's just the evolution of being on the diet for so long. So I think early on, yeah, that definitely I was doing that.
I had pork gel this morning. The wife picked up some smoked. Basically, it's like bacon, but it's the neck meat of a pig, and it was amazing. It was really good. Let's see here. Susan says, I'm eating 2 meals a day, BB&E, no coffee or sweeteners anymore. Laughing, I wanted it today, but I drank a hot cup of water instead. It warmed me up, and I was fine. Nah, I still like my coffee. What about you guys? Any of you guys drinking coffee other than me?
Yeah. But I don't drink coffee in the summertime. Just in the wintertime when it's so cold, I could probably do the hot water because I'm drinking it more for the heat than I am for the caffeine. It's just something nice and warm. It helps get the day started because it's 4 to 5 degrees up here or whatever. But in the summertime, I don't touch it at all. So I could probably drink hot tea or maybe just some hot water, like Susan said, and it would probably satisfy me just as well. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I drink coffee once in a while. Not every day, but I will drink on occasion. I'll drink like 1 cup, and it's like a Keurig sized cup. So I just use the little K cups and make a single cup. And then I'll add butter into it and just use a frother. And then I'll drink it that way when I do drink coffee.
Absolutely. Brian, no coffee?
No, I've never been a coffee drinker, so I don't drink it.
I take heavy whipping cream, I froth it up with a whipper, and then make my coffee into it. No sweeteners, nothing else added, and that's my morning start. And then if I'm out on the road and I feel like a cup of coffee, I'll stop off at 60 Beans or something, and I'll pick up an Americana with heavy whipping cream in it. And that's my favorite go-to when I'm just out running the roads and want something different. Let's see here. Trini says 400 push-ups in 1 day. What? Yeah.
Right.
I got my channel. You can watch me do it.
He's got this drill sergeant in his head that says, drop it, give me 20.
I've become addicted to how I feel when I do it. It's so fast because I can do like, say, I think Brian can do over 50 push-ups at one time. I'm at like 40 is my max. After the 40th one, I'm gassed. But it's so quick. I can do it in a minute. And I have what I feel like is a good workout. It's resistance training. It gets my heart rate up. And in a minute, I'm done. It's kind of like doing sprints. It doesn't, you don't burn up an hour, 2 hours of your day. It's done pretty quickly. Well, every time I stop the truck, which is, like every couple hours, I'm going to stop and either use the restroom or get loaded or unloaded. There's always a reason to stop, buy fuel or whatever. And there's just no reason not to. And so by the end of the day, I've got 250 to 400 push-ups in, and it's just it's too easy not to. And now that I know I can do it, because when I first started trying to do push-ups at the end of July, when I first started Carnivore, I could do 1 and it was a struggle. My wife just laughed at me. And so now the fact that I can do 400 in a day, I'm almost 60 years old. I'll be 57 in March, so I can see 60 from where I'm sitting. And I'm just really looking forward to being in the best shape of my life at 60 by doing little things like that don't take a lot of time and don't cost any money. It's free.
It's good stuff. Absolutely.
And I agree
Yeah,
with what Johnny was saying about you fit it in. Like I had contemplated joining a gym, but I just find that I'm more likely to do something if I can incorporate it into my schedule and into my day. And so I do business intelligence work, IT/technical work. And so periodically I will stop and I'll do a plank, or I'll stop and do push-ups. Now, granted, I can't do anywhere near, or I haven't done anywhere near 400, but I'll do a few, or I'll do squats, something like that. Or I'll get my hula hoop out. I've got my weighted hula hoop over here, and I'll get it out and hula hoop for a few minutes, just something to kind of get myself up and moving and get the blood flowing and that kind of thing. And when I can incorporate it into my schedule like that, I'm just much more likely to do it. If I had to log off because my meditation and my morning walks are non-negotiables. Those things just get my head right before the day starts. So I don't have time to go to the gym before I start my work day at 7. And I know I'm not going to go to the gym after work because I never log off exactly when I'm supposed to. I just don't. And I know I'm not going to get in the car in rush hour traffic and drive over to the gym. That's just not going to happen. So I incorporate these things into my day. I've also got some dumbbells. They're the ones that have the varied weights. And I've been using those lately. I had not been, but I made myself use those too. Like I'll just stop and just do a few reps, one on each arm with it. And I believe it's doing me some good. I live with myself every day, so I can't tell by just looking, but I believe it is doing some good. So incorporating stuff like that into your routine, you'd be surprised at what you can accomplish.
Outstanding. Got another question here. I think this one's for Johnny. Let's see here. Johnny, do you think your current level of exercise is sustainable? I'm trying to find a happy medium with exercise and food intake so I don't put weight back on if I can't work out regularly.
I don't think this is sustainable. I think this is way too little exercise. I want to ramp it up to the next level. Because the more I do, the easier it is. When the first time I tried to do, Brian last month was doing a push-up challenge to see how many he could increase. And he got so far ahead of me, it made me want to do more. And, I got where I could do 20, and then I could do 22, and then I could do 25. And now I'm up to like 40 is like the max. And so I just want to keep going in that direction. And like I said, Brett, you just got to find the time. And the more I do, the more I want to do. Everybody talks about how much better you feel when you go to this way of eating. It's like going from hell to heaven, if you'll pardon that pun. When I added exercise, it was that again. The difference I felt in this way of eating versus the standard American diet, when I started doing hard exercise and really pushing myself, that benefit I got from going from the standard American diet to carnivore, I got that again. And it's addictive. I love feeling this healthy. And I'm looking forward to aging and being one of those people that says, oh my gosh, this guy's 80 years old and he's ripped, or he can swim the English Channel or whatever. So Brett, I think it's just a mindset. My title, my channel is The Champion Within. And so every day I get up with a champion mindset that I'm going to be the champion of my life today. And my life might be lower than everybody else's, but it's mine. And today I'm going to be the champion of it. And very few champions have excuses. I don't have any excuses. I can make up a bunch of them, but none of them really fit because it takes 1 or 2 minutes to get in some jump rope or a weighted hula hoop or some push-ups or resistance bands. So I think I'm not worried about gaining weight. I'm worried about aging. Aesthetics.
Yes.
The fact that I can see 60 from where I'm sitting. My dad's 82 years old. My dad is a cattle farmer. I'll be interviewing him in a couple of months on my channel. He's actually raised his beef cattle, and he's 82, and he'll be 82 in June, but he's the hardest working human being I've ever met, and he ain't slowed down a bit, and he's 82. So I feel like I have longevity in my genes. I just need to give my body the nutrition and the movement to see that through. I hope that answers your question, Brett.
Can I add two things to that?
Go for it.
I think, first of all, one of the keys, Johnny kind of alluded to it a little bit, is don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to yourself. Look to always improve yourself on what you can do, right? So, you know, there might be somebody out there that can sustain a crazy level of exercise compared to what you can sustain. So it seems really crazy to you, right? So do what you can do, first of all. The second piece is I wouldn't worry about putting weight back on if you're eating the right foods. 99% is the nutrition, it's the eating. So make sure that you're eating the right foods, and if whatever exercise you can get is great, but don't kill yourself trying to do more exercise than what you can do, because it's really about the eating. You can't out exercise a bad diet,
Right.
but you certainly can stay fit just by eating a certain way and not getting the exercise. Granted, it's always great to get the exercise, but I'm just saying that the nutrition is the key.
Absolutely. Mike Shaw says it's negative 10 right now. Well, thank goodness Mike's there and we aren't.
Yeah.
All right, another question here. I'm 65, started trying to reduce my weight 50 years. Doctor put me on speed, lost a lot of weight, then other pills. Stop speed, it was bad for the trucker. You guys make sense of that?
Yeah. He's been trying to lose weight his whole life, it looks like. Years ago, the doctor would put you on a weight loss drug, which is essentially speed. And Nancy Reagan, when Ronald Reagan was president, she kind of came in and took that away. Years ago, truck drivers could drive, we've had the logbooks, but you filled it out with a pen and paper so you could lie. So truck drivers would have multiple logbooks, and they would drive 20, 21, 22 hours out of the day, and they just pop speed so they'd stay awake. Well, now all the trucks have GPS sensors on them. So if that truck moves with 3 feet, they know that you've moved the truck. Everything is logged digitally now. Carrie can probably appreciate that. So they monitor everything on the internet. So it makes it kind of tough if you're a truck driver and you're the traditional truck driver where you go to the truck stops and you eat the garbage that's mostly there. And then you're only allowed to work so much. So it sounds like, I guess, Toby's probably a truck driver. He says for trucker. So yeah, it's you just got to make better decisions. You just have to consciously make better decisions every single day. And I screwed up a bunch between between Christmas and New Year's, I should say. And I was still able to get back on track. So give yourself some grace if you screw up, like Carrie said earlier, but just think every day, what do you want your life to look like today and tomorrow, not yesterday?
It's like I posted this week on Facebook. I'm not competing against you. I'm competing against myself. Yep. Every day is a competition against myself, and every day I want to be better than I was yesterday. So, any more thoughts on that, guys? All right.
Well, that semi-retired Bob says be 1% better every day. 1% better.
1% better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meeting Wellness said I did 33 push-ups today, nowhere near John's level. And then Mike Shaw says John's a beast. I agree.
Yep.
If you guys could have seen me in June of last year, I mean, the transformation is almost science fiction. And I don't credit me to it. I credit this way of eating and my Lord and Savior. That's it.
John, have you ever thought about making a calendar for meetup days? That would be a nice to set up a featured times. It's a good idea. I would need to work on it. I use Facebook, to manage events, and that's where I would probably put most of it. But there's also a site that I like going to called, I think it's called Low Carb Events, and you can post on there, and then anybody that wants to go to a low carb event can find it on the calendar. I don't know. Somebody was working on a live stream calendar. Who was that was doing it? You guys know that?
Was Renee.
Renee.
Yeah, Renee was working on that.
So, yeah, we need to come up with a way to get everybody on the same page. That would be good. Let's see. I'm looking for questions, guys. Hold on a second here. I ran out, and people will keep going faster than I can click through here. All right. I don't see anything else. I think we're caught up at the moment. So, is the carnivore diet restrictive? I don't think so. I mean, I think we've discussed that all the way around here. That no, it's not very restrictive, and actually, there's a lot of different ways to challenge it. I think John's ideas with having the hard boiled eggs and the snacks is great. I've found that sometimes when I'm out running the roads, most of your major truck stops now and gas stations, they have hard boiled eggs. They got meat and cheese. They got a lot of good options for you, to grab something to snack on that's carnivore, and avoid the sugar. So, there's lots of things that you can do out there. There's a lot more variety than you realize. You have to start actually looking for it. Let's see. Mike says Renee was working on a live stream site. Pray for the girl. Talked to her today, and she is sick as a dog. Hopefully, she'll be back, making us laugh soon.
Man.
Okay, we'll be praying for her.
Yeah.
And then Charger Mopar here says lard and tallow is the best fat to try in, not to fry in, but to try in. Yeah, but we agree.
We'll
It
try
is
it,
definitely the best fat for trying and frying. Oh, guys, we've been going for a little over an hour. I hate to break the party, but I do respect you guys' time. So let's do a round here and see if anybody's got any more questions. Throw them in now. This is your last chance. And we'll work our way around, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But Brian, what's your thoughts? What do you got going on your mind? What's going on with your channel this week?
So last week I started a new live stream show on Thursdays. People that have been watching my channel probably knows that Greg and I did the low carb football party last fall, and we did that on Thursday evenings during the NFL games. That ended at the end of December. And then last Thursday, we started a new show with Aaron from Brewing Better Living. So the three of us are on, and then we usually have like a guest or something. And yeah, so that's on Thursdays as well. That's at 7:00 Eastern time. This Thursday, we're going to be on again. Our guest this Thursday will be Elia Wells. So that's a live stream that I've got coming up. Outside of that, I've just been working on different content. And something I'm probably going to talk a little more about in the future of my videos is it's funny because so I'm over 18 months on the carnivore diet, and something I always come back to is that I feel my best when I'm mostly eating red meat, beef.
Yep.
So I'm kind of going back into that cycle again. I was eating a little bit of pork and chicken before that I'm kind of going away from. Still eating eggs, occasionally bacon, but it's mostly beef at this point. Ground beef, chuck, different steaks like New York strip, ribeye, that kind of stuff. So a lot of that, and that's something I'm probably going to talk about on my channel a little bit more, just because I always seem to feel best when I'm eating beef for some reason. So that's what I'm kind of looking at doing here.
Cool stuff. Absolutely. Let me know, and I'll pop on and be a guest on one of your shows one of these nights.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be a guest too.
Great.
So you got two now.
And you count me in. I was on the football thing a couple of times. So Brian, obviously you and Greg know if you need me for anything, man, count me in. I'm in.
Absolutely. Great. John, we appreciate you out there running the roads, moving product around. What are you up to? What's your thoughts? What's going on with your channel this week?
Well, just trying to post some of my movement stuff. I know Brian made a strong point a while ago, and I'm just going to add to it a little bit. The way of eating, Brian's absolutely right. Everybody knows, if you've studied this at all, you know that you cannot outwork a poor diet. It cannot be done. But really, because people like Carrie and myself, and I think Brian works from home too, we've become so sedentary, and that goes so against what we did 20,000, 30,000 years ago. They say now that sitting is the new smoking. The vast majority of people don't smoke anymore, at least not in the U.S. It's kind of frowned upon. Where 50 years ago, it was what you're supposed to do. But now we sit so much. We're so sedentary with cubicle type jobs, driving jobs, things where you sit all the time. That is so detrimental to your health. I'm doing some work with Coach Bronson, which Coach will be on here with us next week. And he and I are working on some stuff kind of behind the scenes. And I've been really, really deep diving into some of his content. And it's true. And I know from personal experience, my N of 1 experiment, the more I move, the better I feel. So it doesn't replace the carnivore way of eating or the low carb way of eating, but it darn sure adds to it. So I really try to use my channel to promote, hey, this old guy who's a trucker who was in horrible shape less than a year ago is able to do this. And I don't have any special secrets. I just get up and move. So I would encourage everybody to, whatever you can do. If it's too cold outside, if it's -10 where Mike is right now, don't get outside and do it. Find something to do in your house. If it's just squats, exercise, hula hoop, jump rope, whatever, and just try to stay active and stay moving, and watch how much better you feel adding that into the carnivore way of eating than being sedentary all day. That's all I got. Watch my channel for more content like that.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being here today, John.
My pleasure.
Carrie, final thoughts. What do you got going on? What are you thinking? What's the plan for your channel this week?
Well, I'm going to be doing a recap of the last 2 weeks of eating breakfast. I'm also working on, and I know I've said this, but I am working on it. It's sort of incorporating other ancestral things into our lives other than just the diet. And I think that movement that Johnny and Brian, that all of us have talked about today, is a big part of it. Not necessarily killing yourself, but just, having that movement and other things, spirituality, not necessarily talking about religion, but just getting out and enjoying nature. So things like that, I'm working on, just talking a little bit about that on my channel. And I'm going to be introducing here soon. I've got to get the stretch bands in the mail to Christy. My daughter had given me 2 sets, one for me and one for Christy. So I'm going to be sending her a care package. And I wish I had done it before all this bad weather was moving in, and I'm not going to get a chance to get to the UPS or FedEx store to do it. So hopefully I'll get it to her soon. But anyway, we're going to be doing that challenge in February. So I also am going to continue doing my morning walks and posting my sunrises. And some of the sunrises lately have been non-sunrises because it's just clouds. But I still say good morning to everybody, and that I hope everybody has a great day, because I do. And I think you can look at the positive in anything, no matter where you are and what you're doing, you can find something good. So please come visit me, you all. Check my channel out. And of course, if you have questions about anything or whatever, if I don't know, I will certainly find out or find somebody who can help you. So anyway, that's it for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being on here with us. She jumps in anytime I send a word out. She's quick to respond. So I appreciate Carrie. She's always willing to help come in here and fill a spot when we have something open. Look, guys, number 1 tip, if you want to increase your knowledge on carnivore, go like and subscribe to all 4 of these channels. Just go over there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and it'll increase your knowledge of the carnivore. We're all putting out their knowledge every single day, every single week. We're putting out our experiences, the positive, the negative, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's no topic off limits. We'll talk about everything from what we're eating to what we're pooping. So we appreciate you guys, and we look forward to the next roundtable next week. Bring your fitness questions. I got Coach Bronson going to be on. We're going to be talking about carnivore and fitness, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. You guys have a wonderful Sunday, and God bless.